Hello tarot readers, today I'm going to do a video on the Green Witch Tarot. So I'm going to do a little review. I've been working with the Green Witch Tarot now for about a week, so I thought I would do a little review on this deck. So first of all, it comes in this huge box. I've got the Spanish edition, and because it's a Spanish edition, it's by the company Carrillo. If you're in the UK, or I think in the States as well, I know that Lewin Worldwide do it, and they're the ones that are kind of up for sale everywhere, is the Lewin ones. But because I'm in Spain, it's by Carrillo, and I don't know the difference between the cardstock. What I do know is that the Carrillo deck, I've been working with it this week. The stock isn't bad. The cardstock isn't bad at all. So the creator is Anne Moira, and the illustrator, the artist, is Kiri Ostergaard Leonard. So it comes in this massive box, which normally gets shoved at the back on the top shelf or right at the back. These boxes always tend to be like out of reach for some reason. But with the Carrillo deck, and I'm not sure if this is the same with the Lewin deck, let me know in the comments, but you get this other box inside. So you can actually, take them out of the box and put them with your normal deck collection, or I can put them with my normal deck collections, or just put them anywhere. They're really handy when they come with these little boxes. So I'm really pleased about that. And it comes with this huge book by Anne Moira, by the author Anne Moira, the creator of the deck. Beautiful book. Mine's in Spanish, obviously. And this book has got black and white pictures of the cards, and the major cards has got like this page where you can write your notes in. You can't do that with the minors, so I'm not sure. You just have to remember the minors, but at least with the majors you can write them in. Pretty thick book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've only read a few bits out of the book, so I've not had a chance to really read the book, but I have a chance to work with the cards. So let's start with the cards. The cards seem to be your standard size. They may be just a little bit smaller than the Radiant Rideaway from US Games, the one I'm used to working with every day, but they seem to be pretty much a standard size. And on the back of the cards we have this pentagram, and it looks like a Christmas wreath. So I haven't watched any reviews about this deck, but I have seen pictures from people in my Facebook groups, and I was a bit surprised when I saw that it had this kind of Christmassy wreath at the back, and I thought I may have come across a Christmas deck. I was like, yeah, the Green Witch deck is a Christmas deck, but it's not. It's not a Christmas deck. It's just this card. Looks very Christmassy. Very beautifully done. And the first thing you should know about this deck is, even though it seems to follow the traditional Rider-Waite style, it's also got its unique images, and it's definitely got its unique names. So all the major arcanas have completely got different names. Forget about the names completely different. And even the minor arcana are kind of put down to the raw essence of the names. So the minor arcana are pretty easier to understand, but the major arcana, you will need the book if you don't understand anything about paganism, green witchcraft, or any kind of Celtic or mythology. So you may need the book there. So if you're a beginner or you're just learning the tarot, I recommend you go out running with your finger and your thumb and buy this deck, because it's an absolutely gorgeous deck. But I don't recommend that you work with this deck just yet until you understand the cards a little bit more. So just pop them on the shelf, and when you've learnt the tarot, get them out. So let's just start with these cards, and like I said, all the names are changed. Mine's a Spanish edition, so you're going to see them in Spanish anyway, so it won't make no difference. But basically this is the Green Man, and look at the beauty on that card. Absolutely love that card. And not only do I love the card, the image of the card, his blue eyes, but also the little dog that they've kept here. They've kept the Phil dog in here, and I just think that is a real beautiful, it's like a little nod to the Colin Smith deck. So absolutely love this card. Does the Green Man make sense to me as the Phil card? Because that's what the Green Man is. Not really, it doesn't. But if we're looking about spring and the new adventure and the first leaves of spring, the first green that comes through, in that sense, then yeah, it makes total sense. So it's a really beautiful, happy, look at that, gorgeous card. Absolutely gorgeous. These are all mixed up because I've been working with them all week. We've got the Moon card. Another beautiful, beautiful card. And we've got this trout here, or salmon or trout that's coming out of the water. And this woman is looking up in the moonlight. Love this card. Wish the moon didn't have that face on it. I really do wish the moon didn't have that kind of peaceful, joyful face, because of course this is really, really personal. This is like my way of reading. When I read the moon card, I see the two sides of the moon. So when I'm talking about a person, then it could be somebody who's got two faces, or somebody who's not showing you the truth, somebody who's hiding something. The moon hides things, so things that are being hidden by the moon. And of course, when you've got this beautiful moon where you can see the whole face and very beautiful and peaceful, it's hard to pick that up. You have to remember what the moon card means, you know. So in that sense, that's why it's not such the best deck for beginners. The star card, oh, I love this card. So beautiful. She's in the water. She's become like a fairy. Is it a fairy? Yeah, she looks like she's become a fairy. That's fine. I really don't mind fairies in decks like this. I don't like it when they just put random creatures or random dragons or mermaids or fairies in decks for no reason, and they don't seem to fit there. And I often feel sometimes like the artist didn't know what to do with, so just shove a fairy here. And one of my favourite decks, the 78 Doors Tarot, I love that deck, but they just shove like random mermaid here for the King of Cups and things like that, which didn't really fit with the deck at all. But here it does fit. It totally fits. Look at the Magician card. The Magician card is called the Witch. Oh, I absolutely love this card. I love this card for many reasons. First of all, she's like the magician in her pure essence, because with the Magician card, you're normally creating magic. That's like the whole point of the magician, is creating his magic. He's manifesting his powers. He's got all the power, all the energy, and all the law of attraction and all the manifestation skills that he needs. And that's what's on the table. On the table are his physical products that he needs to create his magical skills and to manifest all these things. And here you can really see that she's creating magic with these skills. And I love that. I love to see that she's using the skills to create magic. Whereas with the Rider-Waite Tarot, which I'm not trying to compare the two decks, but you've just got them on the table and you can kind of pick them up in any way you want. Whereas here you can really see she's manifesting the magic. Beautiful, beautiful card. And she looks like she's in a circle of salt, which a lot of witches use salt for protection, to keep a ritual inside so that it becomes more personal, more direct, and obviously you've got your salt protection around you. One other thing I have found about this deck is in every card there seems to be animals, loads of animals. Like in every card there's a different animal. I'm not sure if that's a crow or a raven because I'm not very good with birds. I don't know anything about birds. But I do love to work with animals in my tarot deck. So I'm not so much a tarot reader who loves animal decks, but I do love to see animals in my deck. So I'm really excited about this and it's worked really well. So this week, working with this deck, I was a bit umph at the beginning because my cards were just flowing everywhere. And the first time I did get my cards in the table in one place without them flying all over, it just looked like I was looking at a piece of grass. It was so green, it was distracting. So I kind of thought, oh God, I'm never going to be able to work with this deck. It's too green, too much greenery. I feel like I'm in a field just looking at grass. There's nothing here I can grasp onto. But I kept insisting. And then there was like this moment of breakthrough where I was looking at cards and I was seeing so much detail. I mean, oh, look at that. The Empress with the apples and the ducks. Absolutely gorgeous. The King of Coins, the King of Pentacles. Look at him. He just looks like any King of Coins should look like that. He looks content. He looks like, yeah, I've got everything. I've got my cake. I'm going to eat it. I've got the lot. He just looks so, so happy. But then in the background, you've got all these like details going on. Like here you can see this cow in the background just grazing. And it just goes on and on. The images that you can see in these cards. Unbelievable. The Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands with this like little squirrel down at the bottom. Is that a squirrel? Yeah, like a little squirrel at the bottom. Beautiful card. The Page of Athens, because in this deck the Athens are, so the swords are Athens. So they've used the Athens as swords, and what a beautiful, beautiful card. So I don't think she's calling it drawing down the moon, because the moon's behind her, so it kind of makes no sense to me. But I've done this spell a few times, drawing down the moon. I've also done the drawing down the elements, the 4 elements spell, and it feels more like the drawing down of the 4 elements spell, but I really don't know. And I'm not an expert on witchcraft, green witchcraft, so maybe it's in the book, or maybe you know what kind of spell this beautiful page is doing. Absolutely love her. The 8 of Swords, the 8 of Athens, looks very much Rider-Waite type. But we have all these beautiful apples in the background. Look at the apple tree. Now, there's a few cards that when I was doing readings with this week, they did I did feel I'd come a little bit unstuck with them, and I just had to kind of center myself and concentrate. This was one of them. This beautiful Queen of Cups. Absolutely gorgeous. In all her element, there she is, sat on the beach, on a throne. Oh, and I am the beach girl. So you would have thought I would have connected a bit more with this card, because I'm really like in the sea every day. But I didn't. I found her to be very cold and isolated and separate and distant. So it gave me this whole new level to this card, and I'm not sure if I wanted or needed that level with the Queen of Cups, because the Queen of Cups to me is all about love and all about emotions flowing and all about family and love and friendships and closeness. So I found her really distracting. She was a bit hard to work with. The King of Wands, he is absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful card, and it just gives me the impression that he's reflecting on all the magic that he's created with his wand. But when I was doing a reading with this deck, this card was actually another one that was quite distracting, because my King of Wands, the meaning for me, is all about action. It's all about movement. It's all about go, go, go. He's got a fire up his butt. You know, he's on his way. And here is just like the fire's just behind him. It's just, he's getting warm from the fire. So it took it to another level that I did find a bit distracting as well. Oh, this crone. Oh, look at the strength card. Absolutely gorgeous card. And I got so much more out of this card with it being in this kind of image than with other decks. I really did get a lot. Also, because this lion reminds me a bit of Aslan. So, because it reminds me of Aslan from Narnia, it just gave it a whole other layer. I could have just spent 10 minutes inside this card talking about this card. Whereas this one, the Queen of Wands, who, by the way, has my favourite flower here. I love these flowers. This card was a bit unusual because I wasn't quite sure what she was doing. Obviously, she sat on a throne, but I don't know, she was a little bit distracting the way she was sat, and I've not figured her out yet. I really haven't figured her out. And some cards I found were really stunning, but I really had to think about it when I was doing a reading. For example, this gorgeous 9 of Cups. Oh my God, look at that card. The card itself is like a picture. Absolutely love this 9 of Cups. In fact, I really would love to just have a picture of this 9 of Cups and put it in this room, because she is so beautiful, so gorgeous. And I think the artwork by Kiri Ostergaard Leonard, I feel like her artwork is just flawless. It's phenomenal. The problem isn't the artwork with this card for me. The problem is where it is in the deck. It's the 9 of Cups. And it just feels so bizarre to be the 9 of Cups. Because to me, it doesn't represent anything of the 9 of Cups on any level whatsoever. Even in the image, you know, she's got a psychic ball, okay? But in the background, we've got this huge fire element. So you would think it was more wands. Obviously, you've got the 9 cups on top of the fire, so that's fair enough. But then when I think of my meaning of the 9 of Cups, it just doesn't resonate on any level to, you know, socializing with friends and people you love, people from the heart, going out, drinking in excess, eating in excess, having too much of a good time, having some fun and being social. That doesn't represent this in this card at all. And I found that with quite a few of these cards, even though the imageries are beautiful, but it really takes you to somewhere else. It does. It takes you somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, obviously I know what the Nine of Cups means, so I'm going to use that. And I love the artist inspiration in any deck, which is why I've got so many decks. And I don't want a clone in every deck neither. I don't think all decks should be Rider-Waite clones or any type of clone. I love the fact that they're all unique, but sometimes, because it gives you a feel of being in the Rider-Waite with other cards, and then suddenly you're not there, it's like a little bit, you just have to get used to it. And like I said, I do love the artist inspiration. I love seeing different decks with different inspiration. When all the decks are clones, they do become a little bit boring. But, you know, there is some cards that just knock you a little bit. Like that one, you're reading it and straight away you're like, oh, yeah, the High Priestess. Oh, no, this isn't the High Priestess. But it so should be the High Priestess. And then you see the High Priestess and she's an absolutely gorgeous card, so it makes sense. The Five of Coins. This has got to be one of my favourite Five of Coins ever. Oh, I love that Five of Coins so much. Absolutely love it. You got the Temperance card here. She does remind me very much of the Star card, and if I wouldn't have read underneath here, which in this deck I think she's called the Fairies or the Fairy, but if you wouldn't have told me that it was card number 14, just by looking at her, I may have got more the impression of her being the Star card. But yeah, she does make sense. That moderation, she's got the jug in her hand, she's doing a kind of alchemy type thing going on there, the balancing of liquids. So yeah, makes sense. I was a little bit like that at first with her. I was thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to work with you, but I did. The Ten of Cups. Love this card. I love the way this guy's got his hand on his dad. And I love the way in the Ten of Cups, rather the mum's taking a picture or he's a widow, you know, because she's never there. The mum's never there, is she, in the family? You know, she must be rather, she's the camera woman, or like I said, he's a widow. And here he just looks a little bit more like a widow because his son's got his hand on his shoulder and they're watching the grandchild and they're saying, oh, I wish mum was here, I wish mum was here, to enjoy this moment. By the way, the children in this deck have got like this size problem. They seem really, really tiny. As you can see, like kind of a weird size for the children, but that's neither here or there. Oh, look at this page. Look at this other page. This page of coins, page of pentacles, with this beautiful dog. I love this card so much. It looks like he's creating magic. Really does. The Knight of Athens, the Knight of Swords. Nice card. A bit weird. I don't know why. I haven't clicked with that card yet. It feels a little bit off. It feels a little bit weird. Look at there. The Two of Coins. How beautiful is that? Wow. It's like a picture. Well, it is a picture, isn't it? But I mean, it's like artwork. It's like you would hang it up on your wall in the living room, even if you wasn't a tarot reader. You'd have that hanging up in your wall. You know, it's just so gorgeous. So gorgeous. And I love the way that they've done these little signs at the bottom here. I think they're really delicately done. And no borders. I mean, no borders is my dream come true on any deck. Love no borders. So this is the King of Athens, the King of Swords. Absolutely connected to him immediately connected to him, opening his letters. He's got paperwork on his desk, he's sat there, he's got scrolls all around him, completely connected to this card. And do you know, he really did bring a lot to my readings this week, a lot. I love him. The Four of Cups, yeah. That was really a beautiful, beautiful card as well to work with. I love all these red hair. There's so many red hair in these cards. I love it. I've got lots of aunties and family members who've got this beautiful glowing red hair. And I always wished I had red hair. And to see it in these cards, just brings the characters alive. Look at that. Beautiful. And this dragonfly... This dragonfly meant so much to me. I love dragonflies. I always feel like dragonflies are like a little sign for me. So I was totally connected. The Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is a little bit like magical, where you've got the two frogs with the two wands running away. You know, this card is, again, it's one of those cards where I could literally buy the print of this as a painting and just have it hanging up because it's so beautiful. But as a tarot card, it really did not work for me because, first of all, apart from it being nothing like my meaning, so I had to work a bit harder, but that's fine. But I couldn't find any meaning. Like, literally, I couldn't find the meaning. What am I supposed to be looking at? The frogs are running away with the wands. So, are the frogs stealing the wands? Are the frogs... She's saying goodbye. Are they going on holiday with the wands? You know, she's waving goodbye to him. Or it looks like she's waving goodbye to him. And these frogs are just... Oh, these frogs on the floor just running. I don't know. I didn't work it out. Yeah. It makes no sense. I'm really going to have to read the book. But I've got so many guidebooks to read at the moment. And I just can't find the time to read all these guidebooks. The Seven of Cups. Another gorgeous card. More fairies in the background. And beautiful, beautiful red hair. The Three of Cups. What I really love about this Three of Cups, how they've got 3 different kind of women's body types and hair colours. Like, you know, we're all the same. I love that. The Queen of Athens. Oh yeah, these are chalices. Cups are chalices, by the way. So cups are chalices. And swords are Athens. This is the Queen of Swords. I'm still working on her. She's a work in progress. Because that's my card, the Queen of Swords. And I haven't quite worked her out yet. Yeah, she's not really been out very often in my readings. I haven't quite worked her out. She's a work in progress for me. I'm really sorry about me sweltering and melting here in front of the camera, but I've got like loads of lights on me and I'm in Spain at the hottest time of the year. I've got no fans on and I've got all the windows shut and I am absolutely baking. So you have to apologise if you just see me melt in front of you. So the next card is card number 13, and this is the Lord of Shadows, I believe it would be called in English, which is really the Death card. I'm not sure how necessary it was to change the names of the cards. Of course, it's created a more novelty type deck, so it's a Green Witch novelty type deck. So in that sense, I can see how it's appealing, and I can also see how a lot of people who do a lot of green witchcraft would love these name changes. But for a lot of tarot readers, I can also see how it wouldn't really make any difference. And for some of them, it wasn't necessary. And I'm probably one of those that it wasn't necessary for me to change the names of the cards. But there you go. That's the whole point of having these great decks where we can explore all different avenues. So I'm all for exploring different things with tarot. And this is the Lord of Shadows now. And the Death card is probably one of the most beautifulest and absolutely, I've got no words for this card. This is the most beautifulest death card I've ever seen. So you've got this deaf person in the background by this tree. Again, another beautiful, beautiful tree. And in the distance, you can see a man with a young child. Oh, and a wishing well. Oh, well. And here we've got this butterfly that represents transformation and transition. How beautiful is that card? Then you've got these weird cards. For example, the Six of Chalices, the Six of Cups, just does not fit in the deck for me. When I saw it the first time, I really didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this card. It looks very like a comic book. It looks really amateurish. And it didn't connect with me at all, this card. But when I was doing readings with that, I thought, oh, well, it might be different when you're doing a reading. You see cards differently sometimes. And it didn't. It really didn't connect with me while I was doing a reading. So, yeah, it seemed very childish. But there was nothing quite as bad as the Five of Wands. That was so Harry Potter type. And it's so unnecessary in my eyes for this deck. Because this is such a beautiful deck on this completely other level. And, you know, when they was doing this deck, they must have seen that was very Harry Potter type. They must have seen it in the final edit. It's like, oh, this is really Harry Potter. So I personally don't feel like it fits in this deck. But because the artwork is so beautiful, and because Kiri's artwork is just out of this world, I imagine that in a Harry Potter type deck, it would be 100% gorgeous. And anybody who's like really kind of into Harry Potter, well, I am actually. I love Harry Potter. No, but like really into him. They may see this card in a completely different way. But I just felt for this deck, it just felt like what a shame. What a shame. This 5 of Wands in this deck. Look at this High Priestess. Oh, look at this. Isn't she absolutely stunning? The water, the colours, the moon in the background. She's creating magic. She's with these stones, these ancient stones. By the way, we've had a drought here in Spain, and they've just uncovered in this drought Stonehenge type stones have all appeared. They've all appeared where water was in Spain. You check it out, have a Google of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we may have our own Stonehenge. But look at that. I mean, wow. I've been to Stonehenge, and the energy in Stonehenge is like absolutely phenomenal. And to see it in that card, beautiful. The Lover's card, I believe, is the Lady and the Lord. I love that they've got the dogs there. Especially dogs. That's so beautiful. And the dogs are so gorgeous. They really are gorgeous. It's really hard to concentrate on that couple, by the way, when you've got these beautiful dogs down here, because all I can see is the dogs. And I'm like, oh, the dogs, the dogs. The 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands makes no sense to me at all. I've not been able to work this card out. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe somebody who's really kind of read the book or understands witchcraft a bit more and can connect this card to an 8 of Wands might be able to let me know how you see it. This card, 10 points for anybody who can tell me how he is stuck onto that tree, because it's one of those kind of things that is so crazy that it's annoying. It's so annoying. When you see it once, you can't unsee it. You see it once, how's he stuck on that tree? And every time you see that card, you ask the same question, oh, how's he stuck on the tree? And it takes away the question of why he's doing an infinite sign on the floor. Because, of course, that's not something I would ever connect to a hangman. So, I'm so busy asking how he's got Velcro stuck on the tree or he's sellotaped himself up that I'm not asking why is he not writing SOS and instead he's putting the infinite sign on the floor. If you're stuck on a tree and you're going to write a sign, write help or SOS. This card, the King of Chalices, the King of Cups, absolutely not doing it for me at all. My honest opinion is that card is too much for me. My 9 of Cups, again, this is personal. I'm sure that everybody's going to look at this video differently, and some of you are going to say this is the perfect King of Cups. But for me, I can't see how I can connect that to my loving, kind and caring, faithful, emotional King of Cups. I just can't see it. He's just overeating. And I say overeating because he's got loads of food, but because his cheeks are so red, he looks like he's ate so much, and he just looks like the 9 of Cups. He would have been a perfect 9 of Cups, in my opinion. We've got this Page of Cups, who is very much like the Page of Cups from the Everyday Witch Tarot. If you look at the Everyday Witch Tarot and you look at this Page of Cups, the scenery, the painting, very much alike. But Page of Cups, as a young person and as somebody who's very artistic, makes sense. So it makes sense that 2 tarot readers have seen kind of the same thing there as well. The 3 of Swords is one of those cards where I always look for in the tarot deck, along with the 6 of Swords and the Hermit card. And look at this. This beautiful, absolutely gorgeous card, which is like this country house, and you've got this lake and you've got this swan. Looks beautiful. And you can even feel the sadness from this woman in this picture. That's how good an artist Kiri is. She's created an image where even though you're in the most beautiful scenery, this woman looks like she's standing at the door and she doesn't want to walk in because she knows when she walks in, what's inside is completely different. So it really connects with the sadness of this card, and the sadness of the 3 of Swords and that heartache and that pain. But to me, the 3 of Swords is also about it's swords, it's Athens, so it's news. So it's about the bad news. It's about hearing something and being told something or seeing something that's really going to hurt your heart. So that made no sense. So I thought, I was on my Spanish YouTube channel talking about this deck of cards. I thought if I picked up the book and opened the book and read the Three of Athens in the book, it would give me more objective on the card. So I opened the book and I read the Three of Swords, the Three of Athens, and it didn't connect with the image or with my connection. So I really don't know what's going on there. And that may be why I've not read the book yet, because I'm a little bit... So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there with the Three of Swords. Obviously, every tarot reader can see cards differently. That sadness that's in the card, I did connect with that. But that sadness didn't seem to be in the book. In fact, the book was a bit about decisions and people who move home or change residency, something like that. I was like, what? That makes no sense to me. It may make sense to you. Everybody's different. So I've really got to read this book one day. So that was a little bit strange, but it did bring up another issue. And I'm not saying that's the issue here at all. You know, that was just one page, one card. That didn't connect directly to my meanings of the cards. So that speaks nothing for anybody else. I mean, it could be the best book in the world for every other tarot reader. But it's at least it's going to be a book that's going to talk about these cards, which is the whole point of it. It's not supposed to be a book on Teach Your Tarot. It's supposed to be a book about the Green Witch Tarot. So I'm sure it's doing its job. So I'm not knocking that. But it did bring up an issue, which is sometimes we have really great tarot readers that don't know how to do artwork, so they'll work with an artist to create a tarot deck. So you've got brilliant tarot readers who don't know how to do any art and they work with an artist to create the deck. Other times you've got tarot readers who do know how to do some artwork, so you've got tarot readers doing their own deck. Other times you might get tarot artists like Ciro Marchetti, who did the Gilded Tarot, for example. And I don't think he's a tarot reader per se, but he's always in tarot groups, he's always talking to tarot readers. So whether he's a tarot reader or not doesn't make any difference, because he's trying to create decks with tarot readers in mind. So he's got tarot readers in mind and he's always asking for their opinion and their input, etc. on tarot decks. So he's working closely with tarot readers. And then you may have somebody who's not an artist and not a tarot reader, but they want to do a tarot deck. And I'm not saying that's the case here with Anne-Marie whatsoever, but when that happens, you do notice that in the deck of cards, because it just feels like there's something missing. And often it's not the artist that's missing, it's just that the creator isn't actually a proper tarot reader. Maybe somebody who just likes tarot, or somebody who's done a bit of dabbling in tarot, but they're not a tarot reader, and you can tell that in different decks. So the last card that I'm going to leave you on is this beautiful card, which is the Holly King. Look at that. That is the Hermit card, and I know he does look a little bit Harry Potter at first as well. That's what I thought, but he's so beautiful. He is, you know, he's the Holly King, so he's like Father Time. Well, I always see Father Time as the Hermit card anyway. He's like Father Christmas. He's just absolutely love this card. This kind of Saint Nicholas, Father Christmas, Father Time, Holly King, Hermit, all rolled into one. And when you turn him over and you've got this Christmas wreath, it just brings this card to life. And the reindeer beside him just is a reminder that we're never really on our own. Even though the Hermit is like on a mountaintop on his own, we're never really on our own. So in total, we have a really beautiful, gorgeous, stunning deck of cards that is a little bit of a copy in some cards and definitely non-traditional in many other ways. We don't have a carbon copy here. Sometimes we're going out the box. A lot of the times, you know, it's just exploring another level, seeing the cards through different lenses, being able to work with the artist inspiration. Absolutely love that. Sometimes it's a little bit too far out of the box, which takes me to a place where I don't really need to go with my readings. but that might not be the same for everybody, and that's just a few cards. The majority of these cards I find really easy to work with, really pleasing for the eye, definitely not going to get bored with this deck anytime soon. And also on top of that, we've got no borders, we've got some pretty decent card stock, and we've got this great little box that I can store it in if I don't want to put it in this massive kind of space wasting box here. So got a little bit of everything there. Love this deck. Congratulations to Carrillo Ostergaard Leonard. Congratulations to Anne Myra on this deck. Beautiful. So if you're just learning tarot, then maybe you want to buy this deck and put it away for a future date. And if you're already a tarot reader, you may fall in love with this deck. That's the Sun card, which for some reason they've taken the sunshine out of it by taking all the people away. There's no children, there's no people, there's just, it looks like, you know, everybody's gone to town or somebody's left our building. But it's a bit unusual to have like an empty house as a Sun card. It's just a bit weird, that. But it's still a stunning card. And you, as a tarot reader, may get something completely different from this card. You may go into a whole different level. And isn't that the beauty of the tarot? Because when you're learning tarot, the way I always recommend to learn it is first use your basic meanings. So your basic meanings are kind of universal to you, and they'll work with every deck of cards. And always stick with your basic meanings. So, you know, you got the joy, the happiness, the summertime with the Sun card. And then after that, let the artist inspire you. And this is a beautiful deck to let your artist inspire you. You can go a little bit wild being inspired here with the tarot cards. So I always say let the artist inspire you. And that may take you on to another level, which is using your senses or any intuition you may have, or connecting to your psyche. So if you go by them 3 levels, you know, your basic meaning, and then your artist inspiration, and then any kind of psychic or feelings or senses you get, you should do a really good reading. And there's no reason not to do an amazing reading with this deck. But let me know in the comments, is it your favourite deck? Do you love this deck? Can you work with this deck? Or is there any cards that I haven't mentioned that you find hard to work with? I'd love to know your opinion in the comments. And I'm going to go and get a very, very cold shower now. And I'll see you next time. I am absolutely, I am like the Wicked Witch of the North. I'm going to be just a pool of water on the floor here in a moment. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe, share me around, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.